We'll have to hopefully work on a systematic way of increased accountability and oversight. Because last report it was up to $232 million dollars lost due to FTE minus 30,000 students losing from the public going to the charter school.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm a former football coach, so 2-minute warning. I want to keep it right to the point, okay? Look, there are 32,000 students, and parents, about 50,000 of them, who send their kids every day to a charter school. And because of this board, the majority of members of this board, they're allowed to do that. So what would have happened in Hillsborough County if you would not have approved those 32,000 student stations? Because when you see that jump that you talked about, Ms. Knightley, you mentioned there's been incredible growth in South County. What would it cost this district to build 32,000 student stations? If you ask Mr. Farkas, somewhere around $22,000 per student station. Do the math. That's about over $700 million. That did not cost the school district anything. The private sector went out, built these schools, they leased these buildings back to charter schools, and the students in your community get a chance to send their kids to a school in your community. If that was not the case, and we take out those charter schools, where would those kids be going today? What kind of attendance boundaries would you be forced to try to make? So in the charter school movement, we do not, we run a tight ship, and the reason we do is the FTE guides everything. If we do not have enough FTE, teachers are eliminated, staff is eliminated. So we do not have a surplus in our buildings. We do not have many schools in your community with financial deteriorating conditions. We do not. Hillsborough County has been an incredible authorizer and a tough authorizer. Listen, I've had, pretty intense conversations with former Jenna Hodgins. Jenna would call board members and begin to question them, and it was tough even getting through an application process. Now, there's a county in the state of Florida, Palm Beach County, that we now have a great relationship. We went through a tough time, and their board decided we're not going to approve charter schools unless they're innovative. We're not going to approve charter schools in certain neighborhoods. We're not going to approve charter schools if we do not think that their plan is good for our community. So what happened? They denied it. It went to the state Charter School Appeals Board. That Charter School Appeal Board unanimously, and I want you to know who's on the Charter School Appeals Board, because I passed that law. 3 members of public schools, 3 members of charter schools, and the Commissioner of Education had the deciding vote. Unanimously ruled that Palm Beach did not provide grounds to deny a charter. What did Palm Beach do? They said, no, we're still not going to deny it. It went to an administrative court judge. What did that judge rule? There were no grounds to deny it. Okay, so what happened? 2 years, over $1 million in legal fees that the Palm Beach School District had to pay for trying to deny something that they had no right to deny. It's in state statute. You saw the state statute. Like the contract. The other day, 2 board members voted against the contract. You know what would have happened? We go to the state, we mediate, we get a standard contract. Anything you negotiated that we gave in to the district would have been taken out, and you would have been stuck with the standard contract. So I would say to you, it is completely unfair to me when I read the narrative that charter schools have caused the problem financially. Listen, I was here with Mary Ellen Elliott. I was in the legislature when she was a superintendent. Decisions were made, and those decisions were inherited by Jeff Akins, a good man, and you guys, the majority of you, made him superintendent. He tried to work through this. You try to work through this. And then it was inherited by Mr. Davis, of trying to make some tough decisions. To blame charter schools for that, you know what? I have to say to you, and I say respectfully, it's not fair. We are providing a service to this county. 32,000 kids, 50,000 parents send their kids to us. Why? Because we provide something different. Who built the schools? Who built those 32,000 student stations? We did. And those 32,000 student stations cost $700 million. Could you have done that? You were still trying to dig yourself out of the air conditioning stuff that took place in this district. That's why the community trusted you enough to give you that half-penny sales tax. They trust you to fix the schools. And that, I think, was a work of this board and also your former superintendent, Jeff Akins. So, look, and disagreeing is good in life because I think it makes us all better. My wife tells me that every day, and I'm reminded of that by my 4 daughters who constantly point out things that I should be doing better. So I think it's healthy to do it. In Miami-Dade, Superintendent Carvalho competes with charter schools. Some charter schools are afraid to open up near his schools. You know what? That's the testament to the competition. Who wins? One of the best districts in the country, Miami-Dade schools. You have the most number of charter school students in the state, in Miami-Dade. It can work together. It does not have to be this adversarial thing or pointing. You know what? One of the things that I did as a football coach when I took over, I told my players, we will never blame someone else for our mistakes. It was the biggest lesson I tried to teach my kids because there was a tendency when something went wrong to blame somebody else. You know what? Take responsibility for my end of it. What am I responsible for? What can I do better? So I think that's basically it. But thank you for indulging me.